Should you take calcium supplements if you have osteoporosis? Are some forms of calcium better than others? Today we're going to begin a discussion about supplements for bone health that will continue in a series of videos throughout this week. We'll go over what works for supplements and what doesn't, along with what things you should consider when figuring out which supplements you want to take personally to improve your bone health. Hi, I'm Sarah and I'm a nutritional health coach through the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. I'm also a 500-hour trained yoga teacher with additional training that's specific to osteoporosis and yoga. I'm also a BoneFit certified fitness instructor. I'm on a mission to reduce the number of osteoporotic fractures, and I am happy to have you join me in the journey to better bone health. When you got your diagnosis for osteoporosis, did your doctor sit down and talk to you about why you have osteoporosis or about nutrition and exercise for better bone health? I would love to hear about your experience with being diagnosed and what support you received or didn't from your doctor. So if you're comfortable sharing, please leave me a comment sharing your diagnosis experience. If you're like most people, your doctor didn't spend much time going over things with you, and you were likely offered a prescription to slow bone breakdown and told to take calcium supplements and possibly vitamin D if your doctor was really on top of things. There probably wasn't much in the way of discussion about different types of supplements or what you should look for in one. This is not your doctor's fault. They're not given much information about supplements. Nutrition isn't a core thrust of medical training, and your doctor, while an expert, can't be an expert on absolutely everything. Today's discussion is not intended to be about the medical system, but it is worth understanding how we got here. After an osteoporosis diagnosis, you are likely left wondering what you should do and if there are things that you shouldn't be doing as well. The answer is that there are definitely things you should be doing, and yes, there are also things that you shouldn't be doing. There are many reasons why a person experiences bone loss, and we're not going to get into that today, but for many people, nutrition and the nutrients that our bodies are able to absorb are significant contributing factors to their bone loss. This happens quietly without any warning signs. Did you know that osteoporosis is actually referred to as the silent disease because it develops without warning signs and outward symptoms? The first sign is often a fracture, and in today's world, if you're lucky, it might be the result of a DEXA scan that gives you a heads up. DEXA scan results are a blessing because they let you know that you need to work on improving your bone health, hopefully before you ever have a fracture. So knowing that nutrition is important and that it's easy to have nutritional gaps that we're totally unaware of, supplements can help to fill in those gaps and ensure that our bodies are actually getting everything that they need. High quality supplements tend to be really expensive, and it's also important to understand that there's an ideal scenario of what a person would do if money was no object. And then there are different levels of how to go about prioritizing supplements and what you do. Supplements can also totally take over your life and have you thinking things like, I have to take this one in the morning, and this one at lunch, and this one at dinner, and another one at bedtime, and this supplement can't be mixed with that one, and on the list can go. Take the information that I share with you today and throughout this week and look at it with the lens of figuring out how to get things to fit best into your life. Just like the best exercise is the one that you'll consistently do, the best supplement plan is the one that you'll actually follow and that fits into your budget. If supplements are adding stress to your life, then it's time to change something because stress also has a negative impact on your bones. And it's better to get supplements to fit into your life rather than letting them run your life. Today we're going to start talking about calcium. Calcium is vital for building strong and healthy bones. The daily recommended amount of calcium to consume each day is 1,200 milligrams. But should you take a full 1,200 milligrams? That depends. I strongly encourage you to figure out what your average calcium intake is, and then to figure out if you're short, and if you're short, by how much. Supplement the amount that you're actually short rather than the whole 1200 milligrams. The reason for this is that our bodies respond to calcium from a supplement differently than they do from food sources. Too much calcium from supplements can contribute to calcification of the arteries, which is something that we don't want. We don't want to harm our heart health while we're trying to improve our bone health. Our optimal goal here is to have what we do for one part of our body to also be good for the rest of our body. This makes it critically important to not take too much calcium from supplements. The next thing to be aware of with calcium supplements is that our bodies can really only absorb between 500 and 600 milligrams at one time. This means that it will not work to take 1200 milligrams of calcium all at once. Calcium is a tricky supplement to take because it can compete with other minerals like magnesium for absorption, and it can also interact with medications. Some of the medications that calcium supplements can interact with include thyroid medication, antibiotics, bisphosphonates for bone health, iron supplements, diuretics, and proton pump inhibitors. Too much calcium can inhibit zinc and phosphorus absorption. Given all of these potential interactions, it's best, in my opinion, to take calcium separately from other supplements. In an ideal world, I'm not a fan of calcium as part of a multivitamin because it's better taken on its own. I realize that this isn't practical for everyone, and in that case, you take what you can handle and you don't worry about it. There's only so much that any of us can do, and calcium supplements certainly have the potential to start turning your life into something that's run by supplements. So keep the ideal in mind and then figure out what works for you in your life. Next, let's talk about what type of calcium is best, because all calcium supplements are not created equally. Calcium hydroxyapatite is the form that our bodies use in our bones. So if you can find a good calcium hydroxyapatite supplement, this gives your body the least amount of work and is the optimal choice. It's highly absorbable by our bodies. This form is made from animal bones, so it won't be appropriate if you avoid animal products. My next favorite is calcium citrate. Calcium citrate is highly absorbable by our bodies, and because it has the citrate, you don't need stomach acid to absorb it. This makes it a great choice if you're working to reduce the amount of acid or if you're taking an acid-reducing medication. Calcium citrate can also be taken with or without food, and it's less likely to cause gas and constipation in comparison with other forms of calcium. Another possibility is calcium citrate malate, which is often referred to as just calcium malate. This form is known for its high bioavailability, and just like other calcium citrates, it's less likely to cause digestive discomfort. Calcium lactate and calcium gluconate are both well absorbed, but they contain significantly less elemental calcium than either calcium citrate or carbonate. They may only have around 9% calcium, so they do have a reputation for being easy on your stomach, which is a good thing. Calcium carbonate is the cheapest and most widely available calcium supplement. It has the highest amount of elemental calcium of supplements available, but it's not well absorbed by our bodies. If you choose to use this form, take it with food so that your stomach acid can help with absorption. Calcium carbonate can also lead to gas and bloating, which can cause digestive discomfort for many people. I'm not a fan of coral calcium. It's often marketed as having a natural source, which it does, but it also potentially has heavy metals in it, and it could contribute to harming the environment in addition to being expensive. It's also good to avoid forms of bone meal and oyster shell calcium for the same reasons. It's possible that there are some high quality supplements out there in these forms, but look to make sure that their purity is third-party tested for safety. And this is where we'll pause our discussion about supplements for today. Tomorrow we'll be talking about vitamin D, and I hope that you'll join me for that. If you found this video helpful, please share it with someone that you know and love. And also, if you'd like to have a more in-depth look at nutrition for better bone health, I will be hosting a 6-week live nutrition workshop. And if you're interested in joining, you can get more information in the video description below. And on that note, I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.